decided to take him away from New Jersey for the day, but he's on the bus with me and your great Senator, Ron Portman. Thank you, Senator Portman, also for being here with us and getting us started today. Thank you, Congressman Gibbs, for getting us started as well. You're going to get reelected. We need to have you in Washington. I look forward to that, Congressman. And special thanks also to Karen and Jim. Jim, who got this going, who figured out how to design a pump that the world now considers the world standard. Thank you, Jim. Stand up so we don't know who you are. Stand up. Oh, everyone else is standing up. Thank you. Thank you. For those that are, I'm hardly an expert on compressors, but for those who don't know what Jim did, he designed, he didn't just manufacture these pumps from someone else's drawings. He designed the technology, made the technology work, and creates the pumps that are still being used today and that are that world standard, and built this enterprise. And in fact, Jim, you and your family and these people who are sitting around us, you did build it. This was not built by government. Thank you, Jim. There she is up in the center. Karen is running the operation now, learned from her mom and dad, and is running this business masterfully well. Congratulations. I appreciate your comments and your words. And Chris Christie stealing your line like that, that's simply not fair. I'm glad he blurted it out. That was very helpful. And let me also tell you how appreciative I am of something we share. Karen and my wife are both breast cancer survivors. And Karen was kind to remind me that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month and gave me this pin, which I'm wearing this morning in her honor, in honor of my wife, and in honor of all the women across America who have battled this terrible disease and know of our commitment to defeat it and to provide long lives to our fellow citizens. This is an important time for America. And I appreciate your willingness to stop production for a few hours, hopefully not too long here, and let me have a chance to speak to you. I'm going to turn to you for questions in just a few moments and let you ask any questions you'd like. And I'll answer some, and if they're real tough, I'll have Chris answer them. and so you can think of those questions. A few words before we get going. We had a debate last week, actually about a week ago, and that was a good experience. I enjoyed that. We spoke about important things, and I think the President and I were each able to describe a vision of where we take the country, and our views were quite different. The President would install Obamacare, and it's been shown that the cost of Obamacare per family is about $2,500 more. I would instead repeal Obamacare and replace Obamacare with real reforms to bring down the private healthcare and save more money. The President indicated that you're going to see higher taxes under his administration. You already have under Obamacare, but that will continue. Actually, the Vice President blurted out the truth by saying that he's going to add about $1 trillion in taxes. And taxes, by the way, do not create jobs. Raising taxes on people make it harder for enterprises to grow and hire people. I will not raise taxes on small business. I will not raise taxes on business. I will not raise taxes on middle-income people. I won't raise taxes at all on the American people. It's a very different program. When the President was running as a candidate 4 years ago, he looked at the deficits under President Bush and found them to be excessive and un-American. And they're about half as large as the ones he's put in place over each of the last 4 years. He said he was going to cut the deficit in half. He's doubled it. There's no question but that if he were to be reelected, we'd see trillion-dollar deficits again and again and again. Our national debt now is almost the same as our total economy, our GDP. This slows down the economy. It makes it harder for businesses to grow and hire more people and to raise wages. And so unlike the president, when I finally get this job, I will cap federal spending, I will cut federal spending and get us on track to a balanced budget. Other differences as well. The president is planning on, through Obamacare, cutting Medicare for our current retirees by $716 billion. I think that's wrong. I think we must honor the promise made to our seniors. I will restore that funding and make sure we protect Medicare and Social Security. And one more thing I'll mention. The president's budget calls for shrinking our military by hundreds of billions of dollars. And then this sequestration idea the White House came up with cuts another few hundred billion. The Secretary of Defense has called those kinds of cuts devastating to our national security. I will not cut our military. I'll restore that funding and keep our military second to none in the world. Now, there's one more place where you saw a distinction between the two of us. We were asked about how we get the economy going and create jobs. And I hope you listen carefully to the president's response, because what he said was reminiscent of what he said 4 years ago with stimulus and hiring more government workers and raising taxes. Those things don't create jobs. Those don't help the private sector employ more people and expand. Those don't encourage entrepreneurs to start new businesses. His plans do not create jobs for the American people or rising incomes. I actually have a plan that will create 12 million new jobs and get rising incomes again. By the way, the median income of an American family over the last 4 years has gone down $4,300 a family. And that's even as gasoline, as you know, has doubled in price. Food costs are up. Healthcare premiums are up $2,500 a person. These have been tough times for middle-income families. And so my plan, 1, creates more jobs, and 2, gets rising take-home pay again. And how do I do it? I've got 5 things I'll do to get this economy going. Number 1, we're going to take full advantage of our oil, our gas, our coal, our nuclear, our fuels. What you've seen over the last 4 years, as you know, is additional exploration and production coming from private lands, on government land. And in government waters, the production is not up. As a matter of fact, oil production on government land is down, I think it's 11% last year. Gas production down, I think it's 16%, but both are down. That's the wrong direction. If I'm president, I will double the number of permits and licenses on federal lands and in federal waters, and we're going to get the federal lands and federal waters to produce more energy, just like the private sector is doing now on private lands. Number 2, we're going to have more trade. We're going to open up trade, particularly in Latin America. We're going to crack down on cheaters. China has cheated in trade over the years. We can't have unfair trade practices. So number 2, we're going to make trade work for us. Number 3, we're going to have great training programs so people who lose employment opportunities will find new ones, get real jobs. We're going to fix our schools by making sure we put our kids and their parents and the teachers first. Put the interest of the teachers union behind. We want to make our kids first when it comes to education. Number 4, I mentioned getting to a balanced budget. That's critical because you see entrepreneurs and businesses that are thinking of expanding aren't going to take their life savings or the savings of others to invest in America if they think we're headed to Greece, if they think we're headed on a path where our country will be in severe economic crisis as Greece is. And if we keep spending like we're spending, massively more than we take in, That's where we're headed. I think this excessive spending is not just bad economics and not just bad for jobs. I think it's not moral for us to spend more money than we take in and pass it on to our kids, and I'll stop it. Finally, I want to champion small business. I want to help entrepreneurs and innovators open their doors. 2/3 of new jobs over the last 15 years were created by small business. So I want to help small business do that by keeping their taxes down, by getting regulators to get out of the way, as Karen said, by making sure that Obamacare doesn't scare away small business. I want to make sure that we help small businesses thrive and grow. Look, this is the place, in a factory like this, in a factory floors across America, and in shops of all kinds. This is where jobs are created. This is where the American people get their incomes. I want to make it easier for people to be hired. I want to make these enterprises more prosperous so they can afford to pay more money to the people who work here. My whole passion is about helping the American people who are struggling right now. That's what this is about. The president says he's for the middle class. How have they done under his presidency? Not so well. I want to help the middle class get good jobs and better take-home pay. I know how to do that. I spent my life working in enterprises. I understand how jobs come and why they go. I want to bring it back. I want to use that skill and that knowledge to get America working again. And I'll tell you this, I need your vote. I need your help. Because if you vote for me, and if you get some other people to do the same thing, Ohio's going to elect me the next president of the United States.